Hey y'all, welcome back to the party. It is me, your girl BrittReacts, and today we're going to react to a segment from the Joe Rogan podcast where they are talking about issues over El Salvador deportations and mass immigrations.
The Joe Rogan experience.
But then there's also legitimate arguments on the other side. Like the other side is making a very legitimate argument about the right to due process if you get processed and shipped out of the country and put in a prison in El Salvador. You know, what is the quote? Was it Benjamin Franklin's quote about innocent and that it's better to allow 10 guilty people to go free than one innocent person arrested? You know, I'm on that side of things.
Yeah.
That's I think due process exists for a reason, and the reason is it is horrific for someone to be accused of something they didn't do, be imprisoned for crimes they didn't commit, and then live in a cell, live in a cage with a bunch of
people who did commit shit.
Here it is, Benjamin Franklin. It's better 100 guilty persons should escape than one innocent person should suffer. That is wisdom.
Yeah.
That has survived hundreds of years. It's incredibly accurate, and it is the foundation of freedom. Like, we have to make sure that these people are actually guilty, otherwise we become monsters. You can't, like, what is that? When you fight monsters, be careful that you don't become one.
Become one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very important. It's very important. You know.
Okay. I like that Joe kind of started off with these moral clauses. As someone who, I think my biggest belief is like, right is right and wrong is wrong. I don't care on what side it's on. And he opened by saying the other side, which I'm assuming based off of what he said after that, he's talking about the Democratic side, that they feel like there should be some due process somewhere going on instead of just plucking people from their lives and shipping them to El Salvador. I'm going to be 100% honest. I'm not probably even 50% caught up and educated on everything that's going on surrounding all of these mass deportations. I understand. I think there's, the most viral of the cases is this one gentleman who they're fighting to get him back because they're saying he is a legal citizen and he's there, but then the other side is saying he's a criminal and yada, yada, yada. Someone being a criminal and having a criminal record does not mean they are an illegal alien. I can say that. I don't have all the information on that case. I won't go too deep into it myself. But I do agree with the two quotes that Joe just said. And I don't think it's not debatable for me. It is that one person being completely punished wrongly or at all for something they didn't do, and them suffering is a grave injustice, and to me way more of an injustice than the other side of it, in my opinion. And also I think sometimes we do work so hard to like fight the demons that it is very easy to become those mean, bad, awful things. And I just think we need to tread lightly in that area as far as like are they doing all of the same amount of effort they're putting into Doge and digging into Doge? Are they doing that digging on the other side of on the side of this immigration and deportation thing? Or are they just doing a very quick kind of thing and sending these people off? I don't know. I'm happy for you to, fill in the blanks in the comments, but I do think I agree just with where Joe has started in this episode, or this clip of this episode.
You don't become one.
Become one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very important. It's very important. You can't do that. But also you also have to deal with the fact that the current administration is dealing with the past administration allowing known gang members and terrorists to go right through the border unchecked. That a lot of them they know got through. They don't know the exact numbers, but they know there's millions and millions of people illegally just walk through unchecked, and a bunch of them have to have criminal records. A bunch of them have to be dangerous, and we've seen crimes that have been committed. It doesn't help anybody on the progressive side to deny the fact that that's a real problem. And then if it happens to your family, God forbid, I don't want it to happen to anybody's, but if it does, you will feel a sting of regret if you supported that, unlike anything you've ever experienced in your life. You'll be like, I mean, it's, you know, it's one of those things where to support one side of this, you have to deny some like basic human values. Either way, like to support just rounding people up and just assuming they're all gang members. I'm not saying they're doing that, but this is the worst case.
That's an interesting. Tell me, do you agree with that? That right there. Nothing outside of what he just said, but that right there. Let's listen to it again.
Basic human value. You know, it's one of those things where to support one side of this, you have to deny some like basic human values.
Okay.
Either way.
Do you agree?
Like to support just rounding people up and just assuming they're all gang members. I'm not saying they're doing that, but this is the worst case scenario, right?
Yeah.
They get a bunch of people in a room, they rope them all in, and one guy's just someone's cousin picking someone up to give him a ride home. That's possible.
And now you're back on the one innocent person now you're right back.
And what if
with
that dude is not doing anything wrong and he's got some stupid tattoos and they decide that this guy's a gang member and now you're in a prison in El Salvador and you're not even from El Salvador. And now, you know, you were just a hairdresser or you were a tattoo artist.
Family
or whatever
man.
you are.
Yeah.
You know, you came over here and maybe you got a green card and maybe you don't. Maybe you were just given asylum because a lot of people from Venezuela were given asylum in America.
Yeah.
And then you get shipped to El Salvador where you're not even from El Salvador. So that the fact that that exists scares the shit out of me. But also the fact that they were just letting terrorists and gang members flow
like
freely
either
into
side
the
of it,
country is fucking horrible. And when you talk about innocent people, what about the innocent people that got murdered by terrorists and well, not terrorists, that really hasn't happened, but gang members and this Trender Wagwa that were taking over those apartment buildings in Aurora, Colorado, and like that's scary shit, man. Armed with machine guns, taking over apartment buildings. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, what are we talking about? You're letting that happen?
That's interesting. Those are not things you see highlighted on the news. Like, what? What are we talking about? I think in this specific clip, Joe is very much, I feel some alignment with how, like, I feel like I can ask questions from both sides or acknowledge both sides. And here he's like, you know, well, on one side, the last administration kind of opened the door for all of this and allowed it. And now this administration is doing a mass cleanup, but it maybe feels like it's not a detailed cleanup. Do you know what I mean? Like it is a cleanup. They are doing some cleaning up, but is it a thoroughly detailed cleanup to where they are making sure they're getting the right people out of the country? Like he said, you know, perhaps there are some situations where it's the wrong place, wrong time. I don't have all the details. But are the people that are being, you know, collected and deported, are they all criminals? Are they all rightfully being deported, I guess is the question. There's always going to be errors. Always. There's never not going to be errors. Nothing is perfect. No one is perfect. No system is perfect. But are they doing everything they can do to assure that everyone is getting thoroughly investigated? And I guess what I'm seeing a lot of is like, how can they have the time to be like things like that? Don't they take time? Like what are they doing to ensure that they are actually getting the right people? Or are they just picking up people in general places where they know there are a lot of illegal immigrants and they're just picking up everybody like one big kind of like claw, and whoever gets caught up in it goes. And then there's the whole issue of the El Salvador situation where the El Salvador, like these people being deported aren't even from there. They're being deported to a country that they don't originally belong to or belong to in any way. And then El Salvador is like washing their hands of things. And so it's making it even more complicated. And again, I am just paraphrasing and repeating things I have seen and I have read. I am not saying what I am saying is law or fact. I think I have the same questions as a lot of people. And that's why we're here. I'm just reacting. Okay. Everybody calm down.
Taking over apartment buildings. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, what are we talking about? You're letting that happen? You're not
Could you
sending in the
imagine
troops to
being
stop
at
this?
home?
Yeah, and you think that wouldn't in your head?
that
You're like, that can't happen in America, in Colorado.
Bro, they got a guy that had done that in California, and they refused to deport him because they said that California is a sanctuary state. They're like fighting to keep a known gang member free in
California
America.
is a wild place.
The whole thing is
Newsom
bananas.
has gone rogue.
It's like almost like you don't want to go full tinfoil hat Sam Tripoli style and just decide that they're trying to destroy America. But if I was going to try to destroy America, that's how I would do it.
Yeah.
I'd take over the political process, impart censorship on all the social media, gaslight people to no end, consistently do it. AstroTurf stadiums filled with people pretending they support something, pay them to be there, manufacture a movement, and slowly but surely bring chaos to all the cities. Allow.
Kind of crazy, but yeah, that is, yeah. Not only is that the way to do it, that's what's been happening. That is crazy that this known guy, and it's a sanctuary state, so we can't do anything about it. It's weird what we can do about things and what we can't, and when we decide to and when we decide not to. Don't we think that? Like, it's weird when we decide to step in and when we decide not to. It's weird. Because that feels very step inappropriate.
And slowly but surely bring chaos to all the cities. Allow DAs to get elected that are the worst when it comes to protecting people and the best when it comes to freeing violent criminals. And that's really their goal. And then they can do it. They could just use words like racial justice and like just send murderers back out into the streets. You just create chaos. Defund the police. Now you have no police. Like, if I wanted to destroy America, I would do it this way.
I mean, what you just described sounds like a like a plan from another place. That's like, oh,
if you wanted to destroy America,
if we really wanted to, not with war, but let's just slowly let them kill themselves type stuff.
And then have them at each other's back, at each other's throats, rather. Constantly have them fighting over political issues. Let's get rid of Roe v. Wade. They're a little too happy right now. Get rid of Roe v. Wade, then the liberals are up in arms. How, you motherfucker? Which was, getting rid of Roe v. Wade was actually a good move if you were a Democrat, because then people get upset and then they really want to vote. Like, you could probably ignite a lot of people. And that was like, there was some famous videos. There's one famous video of this lady celebrating that Kamala Harris was going to win. And she was like, reproductive freedom. Women came out to vote in unprecedented numbers. I'm sure you've seen it. It's a video of this lady mocking this guy working at a liquor store.
No,
did you ever see it?
I didn't see this.
Please pull it up. Please pull it up.
It's so good because it's like this lady, and the way she's talking, like, you can't be a good person and talk to someone this way. Or even
a lot of people need to heed that in the comments. You can't be a good person and talk to people the way you talk to people. Like, to be condescending and demeaning to someone to get your point across actually negates any point you're making, whether it's a good or a bad point, right or wrong. Like, people have got to learn that the way you speak to people has everything to do with how and where your message lands. Hello?
she's talking, like, you can't be a good person and talk to someone this way, or even about someone this way, and be happy in the way you're happy.
Yeah.
Like, it's like people like to be shitty to people and think that it's justifiable to be shitty if that person disagrees with you. So you can be shitty.
Why is Joe dropping bars, gems, bombs today? Another one for people in the comments is like, it is not okay to be unkind to people just because you disagree with them. Just because you disagree with me, just because you disagree with people in my comments. It's like, that does not give you the right to be unkind. And then when someone comes back at you and they're biting back at you the way you bit at them, you're like, huh? Some people need to wake up. Joe, we don't even have to be talking about this deportation issue. Joe is giving some life advice right now that a lot of people, especially on the internet, because everybody's hiding behind the screens and the Twitter fingers and the keyboards and thinking they could just sling mud and then get upset when people pick it back up and throw it at them.
to people and think that it's justifiable to be shitty if that person disagrees with you. So you can be shitty. Whereas the guy in this story is not being shitty to her at all, but she's being super shitty to this guy. And but she's talking about reproductive rights. Because like that was
now
like
your
one
point
of
is
the big
gone.
things that got
Now your
people to come
point
out and
is
vote for
gone.
the Democrats.
Yeah.
Like if I was playing 4D chess and I was a Democrat, I was like, this is what we do.
Get rid of ourselves.
Get rid of ourselves. Get rid of ourselves. And then campaign on that. Okay, now we got all the women
Pissed off.
because women don't want men telling them what to do. Bitch, you can't get pregnant. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up.
Shut up.
Until you can get pregnant, shut the fuck up. You know?
Yeah.
It's like this lady. You got
That was the voice of a woman telling a
Find
man
this
to
video.
shut up.
It's so funny.
Just to be clear,
It's
please
a poor
find the
lady.
video.
But it's about reproductive rights.
It's like this
she's
poor lady.
saying that, and it was for a lot of people. But that was a big one. So like you would do that. You would get rid of that. You would try to get rid of the Second Amendment. Fuck the Second Amendment. We're gonna get rid of all guns. Oh, the fucking gun guys, get up for the Republicans. You know, and then you would say we need open borders because we need our society is population collapse, and they were starting to say things like that. And we need who's gonna pick cotton. They're essentially marketing.
Rage baiting people. Rage baiting people. Who's gonna pick cotton is crazy.
They're essentially marketing it.
I also love how like over the top and exaggerated his examples are, because that's what it feels like. It's like some of it is just so ridiculous. It is.
Because they're saying Americans don't want these jobs, so we have to bring people in to pick our crops. Who's going to clean your toilets? People are openly saying that. Like, not realizing how racist it
I
sounds.
remember that lady. The one white lady, she told him, she was like, who's going to clean your
Those
toilet
are
if they
all
get rid of
black
all the
jobs,
Mexicans? It's like, what
remember?
the fuck?
Who said that?
It was like on the View, one of those crazy View.
One of those View bitches?
She's one
Yeah.
of them, or at least a show like that. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
Yeah. Hilarious. So there was that going on. If you wanted to like destroy society and make it worse, what would you do? You bring people in from a third world country, don't have them change anything, financially incentivize them to be there, give them free money while you're not helping the poor people in America. They were giving them debit cards, free housing, free food, putting them up in the Roosevelt Hotel in New York City. Wild shit.
Crazy.
If you wanted to destroy society, that's how you would do it. That's how you would do it.
I mean, that sounds
You would just keep
like it's
doing
working.
They're like,
Like
we
it's
have no more
going-
space in New York, so we're gonna put them up in the finest hotel that we have, one named after a president. Like what?
Do it. That's how you would do it.
I mean, that sounds
You would just keep
like it's
doing
working.
like it's going in that direction.
Yeah.
So the problem with things that are going in a radical direction, and then there's an overcorrection. So the overcorrection is lack of due process. The overcorrection is like round them all up, ship them to jail. Like that's like
I know a lot of you don't like or agree with Joe Rogan, but for me, he is nailing this one because the other side of it is so radical. The response is also radical, in where there is no due process. They are just getting rid of everybody that looks, sounds, smells anything like illegal immigration or illegal anything. Like they're just that he's making just such good sound points to me. Agree to disagree if you actually disagree, but to me, I'm like, this is some of the smartest stuff I've heard from Joe Rogan.
then there's an overcorrection. So the overcorrection is lack of due process. The overcorrection is like round them all up, ship them to jail. Like that's like some things that you say when you're not thinking things through. Like, what do you do about all the criminals? Take them all, fucking send them to El Salvador.
Yeah.
What about due process? No, fuck that. But here's the problem with fuck that. What if you are an enemy of, let's not say any current president. Let's pretend we got a new president, totally new guy
Smart
in
guy.
2028.
Smart guy.
And
Don't name
this is a
anyone.
common practice now of just rounding up gang members with no due process and shipping them to El Salvador. You're a gang member. No, I'm not. Prove it. What? I got to go to court. No, no due process.
That's
Right?
dangerous, Joe.
That's dangerous.
dangerous.
That's
man.
dangerous. That's dangerous.
I mean, I guess I could assume, right, like to give everyone the due process is tax dollars and time that this administration just doesn't feel they have, right? Like to do that would take years and years and years, and they're trying to clean things up. So they're like, we ain't got that time. Round them up, ship them out. My question to you all, and again, this is because I'm not 100% up on everything that's going on, is Are they permanently placed in El Salvador? Is it a holding thing so that there can be due process? Like, what are these people now just El Salvador's responsibility? I'd love for you all to clear that up for me, not in a taking a side kind of way, but just like the facts. Okay, I don't need to hear what Biden should have done and what he didn't do, or what Trump is doing and what he should be doing. I just want to hear like the facts on those questions that I asked. Thank you. Kindly.
That's
Right?
dangerous, Joe.
That's dangerous.
dangerous.
That's dangerous. That's dangerous. We got to be careful that we don't become monsters while we're fighting monsters. But then again, you got to find these motherfuckers that are here that have terrorist cells and that are ready to fucking blow up malls in Dallas and do crazy shit, which definitely they've thwarted before.
Yeah.
So like, this is the best argument for intelligence agencies, is that there's real threats. You know, like for someone to say, fuck all the CIA, fuck the FBI. What, are you crazy? Who's going to investigate real threats? Like, the real world exists. As much as you want to pretend that that we can all go kumbaya tomorrow if we all just lay down our arms. No. There's people that are 48 years old and dedicated to crime. They've been dedicated to crime in Guatemala, and now they're here.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
and now they're
dude.
selling fentanyl, and they're not going to stop. Okay?
They don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and they're
Another-
on EBT cards where you're getting
Valid
money from the
point.
government for free every month because you're in a sanctuary city,
Yeah.
and you get free food, and you're a criminal. And then one of them, like two of them, assaulted cops in New York City and then got free. No cash bail. No cash bail. You just get out.
No
They assaulted
cash
cops,
bail?
and then they're on the street giving the Tupac to the camera. You ever see that?
No, Joe.
Bro, it's
What?
crazy. First of all, we got to show you the Kamala Harris lady. You got the
Please.
Kamala Harris lady?
Please, I
You
want.
can't find it? They probably scrubbed it from the internet.
I'm
She's being shamed.
not really
You're-
sure what to look for, but
Eh.
You're putting a
It's
tinfoil hat
okay.
on my head right
We
now.
don't,
Like, that's
we don't
how I'm
have to put
feeling.
it on. We don't have to show it.
Yeah, I don't like that.
It's because
I
we
wanna
already showed
see
it
it.
a bunch of times.
I want to
It's
see it.
how you would do it if you wanted to destroy America. I'm not saying. So the question becomes like, how much of it is our own folly? How much of it is just natural human behavior? How much of it is like the right wants law and order, so we don't want law and order. The right wants to punish prisoners. We want to. No, it's racism. You know, it's like
Prisoners
what is it?
are
Well, that's
a
just
race.
teens fighting. That's
Titans,
so
yeah. But also, I feel like it's manipulated as well, and maybe more so than anything else. I feel like it's manipulated. And again, if you wanted to turn us into China, and what I mean by that is a country that's facial recognition everywhere, social credit score system that's attached to all of your banking, your ability to travel, everything you do. If you make anything online that's against the government, you could be disappeared, you could be locked up, you could be made a political prisoner. You know, this is fun.
It felt like we were heading that way.
Yeah, I think this is something that, I think it was Metzger that said this. No,
That's
it was
wild to
Duncan
think about.
that said this about Ukraine and Russia. He was like, do you realize, like, the Ukrainians that we're killing, or that rather the Russians that we're killing by sending over arms and money to fund the Ukrainians? Not saying that we shouldn't do this, but he's saying that a lot of those guys are being forced to go to the front line. And a lot of those guys are prisoners who get released in order to fight. So what if you're a prisoner because you wrote a bad tweet against Putin and they lock you up, and then all of a sudden Ukrainians are killing you with American weapons because you tweeted bad against Putin? So it's Putin's
It's a
way
lot.
of like eliminating
Yeah.
any dissent from, like, and they don't even arrest that many people online in comparison to, or for doing things online in comparison to the UK. The UK is getting in on it full
Yeah,
steam.
we reacted to something recently. I can't remember what it was. It's about that one journalist, though. Or I can't remember the exact video, but they were talking about how, like, they are, like, cutting these journalists at the knees if they say anything against. It's a scary, scary thing to think about. I mean, me here sitting on this channel reacting to things and giving my opinion. It's a scary, scary thing to think about. And so, again, and I said this in a video a few days ago, right? Like, you understand why so many people are behind the Trump administration and what they're doing, because they feel that they're losing all of this freedom. all of their rights and their freedom is being taken from them because they can't even like say things anymore and feel safe. That's a scary thought. It's a really scary thought. In the home of the free, the land of the free. These are things that people are really having to think about these days.
Or for doing things online in comparison to the UK. The UK is getting in on it full steam ahead. The UK is arresting people for anything that makes people uncomfortable online. They show up at your house and just fucking arrest you. They've arrested, like, how many people have been arrested in the UK for social media posts in the last year? It's gonna blow your mind. It's going to blow your mind. This is just posts on social media. Like, we need to send these illegal immigrants back. Saying shit like that.
Yeah.
You get arrested. Arrested. Hate crimes.
Even if I'm joking? Even if I'm just fucking having a...
There's no jokes.
Wow.
No jokes on
There's
that.
no
Not
jokes.
in the UK. Not only that, but the guy who's the head of the UK, they're saying now that they could potentially arrest Americans who have posted things online when they visit the UK. Yeah, I was reading a post about this. Like, this law could potentially be used in this way. That if you are a person in America and you're posting horrible shit about the UK government or the immigrant problem or whatever they have, context behind available information, exact figures 2025, not fully comprehended. 2023, 12,183 arrests were made across 37 police forces in the UK under Section 127 of the Communications Act 2003 and Section 1 of the Malicious Communications Act in 1988, equating to about 33 arrests per day. Laws cover sending grossly offensive, indecent, obscene, or menacing messages via electronic communication networks, which includes social media posts and also DMs. DMs.
You can't even slide in the DMs anymore, child, with an opinion or information. Jesus. This is the state of the world. They are in your DMs. Be careful. Be careful.
Includes social media posts and also DMs. DMs. So people have been arrested for horrible DMs that nobody gets to see other than the friend that you're sending it to, supposedly.
You have no idea what the context is. That's
checking
crazy.
Into this one time recently, it said that a lot of people may have been arrested, but many of them were not prosecuted and were released.
But it's still
after.
Right. Okay, that's cute. It's still horrifying
still
because what you're doing is
people.
scaring people into compliance. They don't want to be arrested again, and they certainly don't want to risk being prosecuted. But they're forcing people to censor themselves.
The
I
jump.
read it said that they were breaking the law. I don't know which law
Right.
they're breaking.
Well, no,
but it says
they
they're
do
breaking
have
the
a law. They don't have
Every app is on here. WhatsApp, X, nothing and no one is safe.
freedom of speech the way we have in America.
I didn't realize the video was ending. Sorry, guys. Poor timing on my behalf. Whoa. This video was way less about El Salvador than I thought it would be, but I'm interested to have conversation with you all about all of it. This is wild. We are in wild times, guys. I'm at a loss. As stated in this video, keep it cute or put it on mute if you can't be kind in your opinions, which I welcome all perspectives, opinions, point of views, whatever. But they must be riddled with kindness. If not, scram. I love you guys. Go and have the day you deserve. Bye.